The film opens with a scene of Jay living happily with his family, including his wife and 2 young daughters. He's about to go abroad for work for a few days, leaving his family sad and disappointed. Jay reassures his wife that he'll be back soon and they'll have more time together. Meanwhile, a stranger appears outside Jay's house, silently observing through the window. Jay senses something passing by but ignores it as he's busy packing. A moment later, he notices the previously closed door is wide open. At that moment, Jay hears his wife scream. Running into the kitchen, he finds his eldest daughter there while his wife has been knocked unconscious. Then he hears his youngest daughter's scream, discovering her hiding under the bed. Just as he tries to pull her out, the stranger is standing right next to him and knocks him unconscious. In the next scene, Jay wakes up with a cloth bag covering his head. When he removes it, he finds himself in a gloomy room, one hand cuffed to the wall behind him. But Jay isn't the only one kidnapped and brought here. 3 others are also bound like him: a girl named Kat, a security guard named Adam, and a severely injured man they call Paul. The 4 of them are complete strangers. Paul is severely injured, with numerous open sores on his body, his mouth sewn shut. Unable to utter a word, he lies curled up in a corner, moaning and waiting to die. No one knows why they've been brought here and held captive like this, only that they will all be tortured like Paul. Unable to contain his anger, Jay reacts vehemently, asserting that he is a good person, a frequent charity worker and vegetarian, who has never done anything wrong to deserve such punishment. After a few hours, the lights in the room flickered, signaling the arrival of the kidnapper. He walked to the door and threw a piece of raw meat through a small crack for them to eat. Kat quickly picked it up, divided it, and gave some to Adam and Jay. However, Jay refused to eat it. The other 2 tried to persuade him, as that piece of meat was the only thing that could sustain him in this place. Paul, however, was inedible, so the kidnapper injected him with the substances to keep him alive. Jay began to think of a way to escape, but Kat and Adam sat silently, showing no intention of resisting. They tried to escape many times but failed, leaving them demoralized and helpless. Jay tried scratching the wall, but his fingernails came off, causing him to scream in pain. Adam also held out his hand. All his nails were broken off, indicating he had tried the same thing. Not stopping there, Jay continued digging underground and discovered a skeleton. He also saw a camera, realizing that the kidnapper was watching and enjoying their suffering. This caused Jay to start cursing and provoking him through the camera. Paul tried to stop him, warning that enraging him would have terrible consequences. But Jay ignored him and continued to insult him. Finally, the kidnapper became truly enraged and appeared. Jay secretly planned to subdue him when the opportunity arose to escape. But things took a turn for the worse when he saw the man in person. Jay was almost paralyzed by the sight of an incredibly muscular and terrifying figure, wearing a leather mask that looked like it was made from human skin. Jay was terrified but still mustered the courage to ask the kidnapper about his family, whether they were safe or had been harmed. The kidnapper didn't answer, only silently stared at him, then dragged Paul to the middle of the room. He gave Kat a knife and forced her to cut open his stomach, cutting off a piece of skin to give to him. With no other choice, she complied, having obtained what he wanted. The kidnapper sent her back to her original spot, then threw the knife at Jay and demanded that he do the same. Jay immediately seized the opportunity, lunging at him with the knife. However, the man easily dodged and counterattacked. This action came at a price, but it was Kat who suffered the consequences. Jay regretted his actions and repeatedly apologized, but to no avail. The kidnapper held Kat tightly and ordered Adam to come closer, shove a tube into her mouth, and drop an insect in. The kidnapper then gagged Kat, nearly suffocating her, but his intention was only to torture her, so he released her and left. Much to Jay's horror, Kat painfully vomited blood and the insect. When it crawled towards Jay, he crushed it, accidentally discovering a small blade stuck in the sole of his shoe. He immediately used the blade to cut the ropes binding him. Adam tried to stop him, warning that if he continued, they would face even more horrific punishment. But once again, Jay ignored him and continued cutting the ropes. When the kidnapper returned, Jay pretended to stumble, then used the opportunity to push him aside and run out of the room. Unfortunately, all the doors leading outside were locked, leaving him with no escape route. Jay crawled into a ventilation shaft, but it couldn't withstand his weight and fell, rendering him unconscious. When Jay woke up, he realized he had been taken back to his room and handcuffed with a large chain. The kidnapper appeared to punish him. He gave Adam the key to unlock the handcuffs himself. Next came an axe, with the order to knock Jay unconscious. Not stopping there, the kidnapper showed him 2 nails, signaling to nail Jay's hands to the wall. Knowing the consequences of not complying, Adam could only apologize to Jay and obey. The pain was so intense that he woke up screaming wildly before falling unconscious again. After Jay was nailed to the wall, Adam obediently returned to his place and tied himself up. Jay dreamed of seeing his wife before being awakened by the appearance of the masked kidnapper. Despite his pain, determined to escape and return to his wife and children, Jay gritted his teeth and pulled his hands off the wall. After calming down, Jay realized there must be some connection between them and the kidnapper. What fueled his hatred and led him to torture them? Hearing this, Paul seemed to struggle to say something, simultaneously drawing a symbol on the ground. Not stopping there, he tore open his mouth to utter the word, horse. Due to the severity of his wounds, Paul did not survive. Adam, hearing the word, horse, and the symbol on the ground, realized Paul meant horseshoes. At this point, the connection between them and the kidnapper became clear. The story goes back 20 years to when Jay was about 10 years old and went camping with his family in a forest. There, he befriended 3 other travelers his age, the very 3 who are now being held captive with him. That evening, Jay told them a chilling story about a house deep in the forest. A farmer lived there with his family, raising pigs, but after his wife died, he lost his mind. He used pig skin to make a mask and imprisoned his son in the house. It was rumored that one day the farmer sharpened his knife and used the entire pig skinning process on the boy. He was still alive, hiding in a house in the middle of the forest, wandering in search of his next prey. Jay suggested the group go find that house. Just as they realized someone was approaching, it was a boy named Dominic. Dominic wanted to make friends, but Jay's group set a condition. He had to complete some challenges to join. And he agreed. First, Cat put an insect in his mouth. However, Paul stepped in and held Dominic's mouth shut to force him to swallow it. Not finished yet, Cat released a spider onto Dominic's head. The spider crawled everywhere and then into his ear, causing him to scream in pain and run away. But the group chased after him. Adam snatched the keychain from Dominic's hand and forced him to lie down. Cat used rings to pin his hands to the ground while Adam took out a box full of worms and threw them in his face. Before leaving, the group threatened that if the insect got into his eye, it would eat his brain. They laughed, mocking Dominic's helplessness. The next day, Dominic sat outside sadly because his parents were arguing again, and his father was resorting to violence. Cat then appeared and asked about the scar on Dominic's hand, which resembled a horseshoe. He said he inflicted it himself when they shot his beloved horse. Then Cat returned Dominic's keychain and said she wanted to take him to an interesting place. That was the house of the deranged farmer Jay had told him about. The group found it, and they were all there. Cat told Dominic to go inside, and she would let him kiss her. Though terrified, Dominic slowly stepped in. The others panicked and ran away, leaving him alone. Just then, a figure appeared inside the house and snatched the boy away while the rest of the group returned home, never to see him again. Now they face each other in this place, but they don't recognize each other. When the police investigated, they offered no help, saying nothing about Dominic or the farmer in the house in the woods. Later, the truth was revealed. The deranged farmer, known as Credence, had actually lived in that house. He treated Dominic like his son, raising him and instilling in him the idea that his parents and friends were evil for abandoning him. He portrayed himself as a good person and wanted Dominic to stay with him. But every time Dominic tried to escape, Credence would catch and torture him. Once, Dominic successfully escaped the house when Credence suddenly started coughing violently. But seeing the desolate scene before him, he was terrified, not knowing what to do next. Dominic returned to the house and began to see Credence as his father. Credence trained him to be strong, but at the same time instilled in him a false idea that to eliminate evil in a person, torture was necessary, and only through enduring enough pain could one shed that evil. There was a room in the house that Dominic was forbidden to enter, but when he grew up and became aware enough, he secretly went inside. There, he discovered that Credence had completely lost his mind and had killed his own son in his madness. This proved the story Jay had told him to be true. Not only that, Dominic also discovered another horrifying truth. Credence had set fire to his parents' car, causing their deaths. All of this was just to keep him by his side forever. When Dominic learned of this, he was both heartbroken and enraged. Just then, Credence appeared and became furious upon seeing Dominic in the forbidden room. He understood that Dominic knew the truth and would no longer consider him his father. So he immediately beat him mercilessly. Then he tied him up and intended to kill him by scalding him to death. However, luck was on Dominic's side when Credence suddenly started coughing violently. Dominic successfully freed himself and knocked Credence unconscious. Finally, Their positions were reversed. Dominic ruthlessly threw Credence into a boiling cauldron, killing him in agony. Afterwards, Dominic skinned Credence and made a mask, which he still wears to this day. From that moment on, his sole purpose in life was to take revenge on the other four by making them experience exactly what they had done to him years ago. That is also the reason he kidnapped, tortured, and unleashed all his rage on them. At this point, Jay suggested to the others that they should apologize to Dominic for what they had done to him in the past. Perhaps he would forgive them and let them leave. Then he loudly called out Dominic's name. When the kidnapper appeared, he didn't listen to Jay's apologies or reassurances. He gave Jay a syringe filled with spider eggs and forced him to inject it into Kat's ear. Dominic was reenacting everything they had done to him 20 years ago. Back in his room, Dominic painted a picture of his dream, of a happy family and close friends. He then erased Paul's picture because he was dead. Just then, Dominic saw Adam and Jay arguing through the surveillance camera. Finally, Jay was knocked unconscious. Dominic didn't want anyone to die too soon, so he rushed back to the gloomy room. However, this was their plan. Jay unexpectedly lunged forward to subdue Dominic. Even though all three of them worked together, this guy was too strong, knocking each of them away one by one. Once he had Adam under control, he gave Kat a knife and forced her to cut a line in his eye, then inserted an insect into the cut. After finishing, Dominic left, but he accidentally forgot the knife. Jay quickly used the knife to unlock his own handcuffs and those of the others. Adam was in great pain and begged them not to let the insect crawl into his brain. Jay reluctantly removed his eye and stopped the bleeding. When Adam calmed down, he asked for the knife for self-defense, but Jay firmly refused. Adam blamed Jay for the torture and attacked him. To separate them, Kat used the skull to hit Adam on the head, accidentally causing the knife to pierce his face. Adam ultimately succumbed. Afterward, Kat snatched the knife and pointed it at Jay, admitting that it was their fault, not Dominic's, for abandoning him in that house. The farmer had nurtured him and turned him into a cruel person, while they did nothing to help or tell the police. Just then, Dominic appeared, restrained the girl, and took the knife away. Jay also apologized, admitting his past mistakes and begging for forgiveness so he could leave. Dominic seemed shaken, and Jay seized the opportunity to remove his mask and take the knife. At that moment, countless baby spiders poured out of Kat's mouth. Jay stabbed Dominic in the back, but the second stab hit Kat in the stomach instead. Dominic, seemingly panicked, tried to ease Kat's pain and used the knife to cut open her body, pulling out all her internal organs. Only Jay survived. Dominic said he had failed in his attempt to eliminate evil from them. He demanded Jay kill him, but Jay only ran outside, hoping to get home as quickly as possible. But the house was like a labyrinth. Most exits were locked. Dominic chased after him, and they struggled. He tried to drown Jay, but Jay managed to grab the hose to fight back. Finally, Jay escaped the house and into the forest. The chase continued. Dominic was still torn apart and demanded Jay kill him. Seeing his hesitation, the kidnapper became enraged and attacked. While chained by the neck, Jay managed to grab a knife and stab the kidnapper in the side. Only then did Dominic collapse completely. Jay then went to the nearest police station and was taken home. His wife and children were waiting, and he was overwhelmed with happiness at being reunited with them. The story then moves on to 10 years later. Jay's two daughters, now grown up, coincidentally return to the forest with their friends for a vacation. Through their conversation, it becomes clear that the police haven't found Dominic's body. This means he might still be alive. And when Dominic's name is mentioned, he suddenly appears and attacks them, proving that he is not dead. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.